posting the bells in the chat, and you're letting us know because the person with the most appointments at 5 p.m. is going to win the $100. If there's a tie, then we just split it. So there we go. Kelly?
All right, I am going to share my screen with you guys. Oh, says disabled here.
Oh, just kidding. 1 second. It's our first day. There we go.
Okay, let's see here. Let me just adjust a few things. Okay, so this might be old news to some of you that have been writing some apps, and this might be brand new for some of you newbies, but we're just going to talk a little bit about Americo Eagle Select. So I am going to just kind of run through a couple things about the product, where you can access information on AES and the agent guide, client guide, kind of knowing what to quote your client, whether it's select one, select two. They also have select three. Bear with me here. Okay. So I wanted to show you a couple different ways to get into the application. I'm going to get my cat out of the way here. Okay, so if you log into your HQ and you go to the left-hand side under Sales Tools, there's going to be a section called Carriers and Products. These are core carriers. And if you go down to this third one here, this used to be at the top, but this third one here that says Carriers, and click Explore now. Can you guys see that okay? Okay, cool. All right, and then here is Americo. If you click info, so this is your agent portal, right? The quoting tool and where you can access the application is really kind of the same spot. So I'm just gonna run you through the steps here, but if you click on the first one, the agent portal here, and log in, this is where it's going to take you. And if you go down to this bottom left-hand side, you can go to agent tools. And right here, you can put in the client's state. You can either type in their age or put in their date of birth. So let's just put in, yeah, I'm here in Oregon. No one look at my age. All right, and then the second one down here is Eagle Select. So can you see where it gives you both the E app and the quoting tool, the illustration here? So you can run the illustration, and actually let's just get into that because I want to talk a little bit. So this is an instant decision product. This product starts at age 40. And Sierra, do you know what age it goes up to? It's 40 to
85.
85. Okay. Yeah. So it's a whole life product. So this would be, talking about mortgage payment protection, that bucket two that we all know. But this is an instant decision. This product is really great for clients to be able, especially older clients, to be able to sign. Because what it does is it just texts them a 6-digit authorization code that they just read back to you. It'll do that twice throughout the application. So very easy for clients to sign. And let me go back also real quick here. So this bottom left-hand side under agent tools was one of the ways that you can get into this illustration and e-app. The other way is through where it says actually e-app. And then if you scroll down actually in HQ on this same page here, if you want to read a little bit as far as what the product has to offer, you can go down here and to the far right-hand side. Sorry, I'm just having to move everybody's faces here. You can see where this Eagle Select agent guide is. This is going to give you a lot of information about basically who qualifies for this product, what it has to offer as far as some of the writers, whether the client is going to qualify for Select 1 or Select 2. It has some knockout conditions. Maybe let's just get into this. It's going to give you a little bit of information on their quit smoking program. Their quit smoking program is really great. It actually gives the client a really long time to quit smoking. So So say somebody's premium is $54 a month for whatever the coverage is, it will give them 3 years at that $54 a month. And then year 3 to 4, if they haven't quit smoking, then it will do one of two things. It'll keep the premium the same and reduce their face amount, or it will increase the premium for the same face amount. So it's one or the other. So, but it does give them 3 years to quit smoking, and they just have to be smoke free for the last 12 months of that kind of 4 year time. And then they can get, they can continue to get non-smokers rates. So love this product. And I mean, I've had some people say, no, I'm absolutely not going to quit. So I haven't used this product. But if they are really considering, quitting smoking, for the first 3 years, they will get those non-smoker rates. And then they just have to have quit, from year 3 to 4, that 12 months of not having any tobacco or nicotine. But yeah, this product guide here talks about the different tiers. And there's select 1, select 2, and select 3. Let me see if I could get down to the area where it talks about these. Okay, yeah, so down at the bottom, this is page 9. It talks about conditions that are not available for Eagle Select 1. I won't get into a lot of them, but these are some general knockout conditions that, you just can't have at all to be eligible for this product. But as an example here, I think it says if heart disease is answered yes and an applicant admits to use of nicotine, sorry, I need to move some faces again here, or is identified by a third-party service to using nicotine, then the best available class is Eagle Select 2. So you can kind of read about this as far as what constitutes, Select 1 and Select 2. Diabetes, I think, has gotten asked a lot in the 911 chat, whether they're on metformin and insulin or whatever the case may be. If they usually don't have any other conditions and they are just a diabetic with no complications, then they'll usually come back as a Select 1. If they're a diabetic with some complications, like whether they've had neuropathy or retinopathy or amputation, whatever the case may be, in conjunction with that diabetes, that complication with diabetes, then usually it puts them at a Select 2. If it ever comes back at a Select 3, which I've never actually seen, then you want to pivot and probably go to AIG's guaranteed issue. So you can get some information in that agent guide, just on the different tiers and the different writers. So, and then let's see here. The other place that you can get into the application and both the quoting tool is, as we all know, sfgquotes.com. Here's Americo. And if you click on this, it takes you to the quoting tool and the illustration. So it's nice that you can come here, work up your quotes, and then down at the bottom, it just says apply here and you can run the application. Let's see, what else? One of the things that I actually really like about this product in particular. So the other day I ran this application with a client who was 73. So they have an accidental death rider. So say we quoted somebody for a face amount of $12,000. So it has the accidental death rider that pays out double, because that client at 73 years old is not eligible for the Mutual of Omaha accidental death policy. So with this one, you can add in that rider and it will pay out double the face amount if they get into an accident and pass within, I think, 183 days of that accident. So due to bodily injury. So that's nice. I've had a lot of clients recently that have really loved that double indemnity or that double payout of that face amount. And then I wanted to show one other thing here. This is kind of fun. If you go to agentcafe.com, Sierra, I was going to ask you, do you know much about the child rider? I've never added a child rider to this policy for anybody. I was kind of trying to read through that. Yeah. I think mainly what I've done as far as any writers is just that accidental death rider for those clients who are too old to get it through Mutual of Omaha or even through Foresters. So, and it really is not
I
that much
think
more expensive.
I think the reality is if we're going to write a children's policy, like if we're
Yeah,
adding a child writer, there's just better products. Like an actual separate children's policy would probably do them more justice.
right, right. Yeah. And so if you go to agentcafe.com, this is kind of fun. You can click, you can just scroll down on this front page here where it says demo e-app. You can see in red that it's just for demonstration purposes. And, you can put in all of the client's information. And I want to just show you kind of one thing here just to be on alert for. So let's say we were writing this whole life product, this final expense product on myself. So I'm going to click e-app and just kind of go through the first couple things here. So initially, and let's see. So basically, the only thing that this demonstration site is not going to do is tell you whether your client is going to get approved for select one or select two. It's always going to quote you the lower of the two, the select one. So okay, so when it comes to Social Security, you can put in your Social Security. It's not going to do anything, but I always just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, this is just for demonstration purposes. Has anybody used this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
the demo.
The agent
I
cafe.
have.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So, and then it's asking
I
who.
think you put in 11 pounds though.
No,
Oh, 118. I didn't see the 8. I was like, I don't think they're gonna get approved.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Does it take that into consideration with the demo app? But
It should, yeah.
okay. Um, let's see what else. Okay. Now, what was I gonna say here with this? Well, essentially, this is helping to see whether or not the client can get approved just in general. I guess I don't really need to go any further with this, but nonetheless, it's going to take you through the whole process of running the application and exactly what it's going to look like for you. So it's kind of fun to go through this demo app. It's going to, again, like if you're quoting somebody for that $12,000 and say it comes up as $54 as select one, we'll say you know that the client is going to get for sure approved as select two. When you're running the demo app, don't worry about what it's quoting you. Basically, you're just wanting to run through the questions. So say somebody has diabetes and they have mental health disorder because it's going to have a series of questions to go through. So then it will ask you after that, the date of your diagnosis for diabetes, or maybe what mental disorder you have, whether it's I don't think really, I think maybe depression's on there, but not anxiety. It'll ask for more like schizophrenia, bipolar, stuff like that. So you can just run through the entire application to see if you can get approved. But again, just kind of be on the lookout that it's not going to let you know whether the client gets approved for select one or select two. It's always going to be select one. But you can put all the client's information in here. So really, you just kind of have to know based on what the client guide, the agent guide says in regards to who is eligible for select one and select two, as well as your mentor when knowing what to quote the client. Worst case scenario, I think it's better to kind of quote the client high at select two if maybe you're a little bit unsure. So when you run through the application, if it comes up as select one, then yay, awesome. You can either do one of two things, accept the lower premium or increase the coverage. But I would never quote a client select one unless you're really sure, because then if it comes back select two, the client may be just a little bit upset that now the premium is a little bit higher, and or they're not able to they'll reduce the face amount to keep the premium the same, and then they might be upset by that as well, just not getting the same face amount. So work with your mentor on that as far as knowing whether a client gets approved for select one or select two, but that demo e-app is great. Let's see if there's anything more here about Americo. Yeah. So in the handbook, I think it's slide 54, 45, 54, something like that. Anyway, there is that image where it has bucket one and bucket two, which bucket that client is going to fit in based off of age, but then also health and what you're able to get them approved for. So sometimes you may have that young 40-year-old who has some conditions that puts them into bucket one as opposed to bucket two, where you're not, getting them a term product, you're getting them a whole life product. So this one does go back to what I was saying earlier, as low as age 40, which is nice. But for those older clients, this is a really good application just in terms of them being able to sign, because it's a no-brainer. They get that text, that confirmation code's right on the front. They just have to read it back. And then Sierra, is this a full comp? AES is a full comp product?
No, I don't think it's a full comp. I think it's like you'd have to check the master commission guide.
Okay,
It
it's
was
just
different with Eagle Premier, but it's not full comp with
okay.
Eagle
That's
Select.
Americo's term products, like the T125. That's full comp, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
it is.
okay, gotcha. But yes, this is instant decision. So unless, like Brett Bernesh was saying that he had some issues, they said at the end of the application, they didn't say, I should say, whether or not that client got approved. Then most of the time it's instant, and you will find out at the end whether or not they get approved. Sometimes those things happen though. And let's see what else here. As with Americo Eagle Select, there's other products that are offered by Americo that you can look into as well. And I think that's really about it. It has that, quit smoking advantage program, which I think a lot of people like. It just gives them that opportunity and a long time to quit. Anything else, maybe, Sierra, that you want to add about this?
No, I think you did a great job. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Does
all I
anybody have any questions?
got.
Any questions at all?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, the other day I saw where you can, when you're using that quoting tool in America, you can there's like a breakdown with a whole chart of what their what their cost would be if they got term two and then term three.
Hmm.
I don't can is there how would I find that in that tool?
When you run the quote, you should be able to go in and change and look at how do you run a quote for AES2? Is that what you're asking?
No, I know how to do that. I know how to get to that quote tool. I just
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, Dagan. Where it says the prices for select one and select. Yeah. Okay.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
let's go there. So here's the quoting tool back to,
yeah.
and let's do myself here, no tobacco. So let's just say we'll keep it at 10,000 for the face amount. And then of course, here's the writers, right? So I'll actually show you what it looks like as far as the price goes for with and without the accidental death rider. So for $10,000, if you go down here, it's going to say my premium is 2313. Now, again, this is
Yep.
always going to be select one. So let's
Mhm.
just look. So if it's 2313, and if we add the accidental death rider that pays out double, so it would pay out 20,000. Let's just see what the price difference is for fun. So yeah, I mean, it adds $2.
$2 more.
Usually, yeah, usually if they're, I think, a little bit older, or maybe doing more than just 10,000, then it's going to be a little bit more, but it's not substantial. So Dan, I think what you're looking at. So again, let's just say that I have diabetes. I'm trying to think what's on the list of health issues. I
Heart
have
problems.
heart problems, yeah, or some, a couple conditions. So,
Yeah.
and you want to quote them tier two because you know that they're, or sorry, select two, because you know that 2313 is select one, that they're not going to be select one. So when you go down here, you're going to want to create report.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. And then you're going to want to open report. And then here's
Oh.
going to be your select one. So that was the 2313, right? Because it automatically just populates as select one.
Mm,
What would, yeah, because you're not putting in any of the health conditions until you're actually in the application.
got it.
Right. So it just, defaults to that select one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So create report, save report.
Yep. Create
Perfect.
report and then open report.
Or yeah, open report. Yeah. Awesome.
And yeah, that's just at the bottom of the illustration so that you
Awesome.
can see the prices. And then again, I mean, I've
It,
never come across a time where I've gotten select three just basically because of the information on the CQF form. I just know to go to AIG. And there's some other products
yeah.
like that as well that you just know you don't want to do their graded period because sometimes it's maybe 3 years where AIG is 2 years. We just know that AIG is sometimes the better graded product or guaranteed issue product, as opposed to going select three. I mean, these prices don't look bad, but some of them are astronomical. So
Yeah, the keep in mind too that the coverage amounts change. So select one can go up to 50K. I don't know if you went over that. Select two only goes up to 40K, and then select three only goes up to 25K. Did you tell them about the green box?
the underwriting box.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
I mean, no,
favorite.
I did not.
It's
So
my
that's,
favorite.
yeah. So when you're going through, well, can you kind of explain that, I guess, Sierra? Because the green box is this initial underwriting box that pops up on the top left-hand side as you're running the application, and it pops up before you get to any of the health conditions. So,
So
I did
basically,
run. Go ahead.
once they give them the HIPAA authorization and they run their MIB report, they're checking that client's information against like the MIB information codes against their system. So if their system doesn't flag any codes, then they give them an automatic approval. So what you'll see is like you still have to finish the application, but you get that little green box, and that what that usually means is that you're going to get an approval. Like I think I've only gotten declined once, even though I got the green box, and I might have been crazy and thought I saw it and didn't actually see it. But
I ran this the other day and I got the green box and then she got declined. And it was
that's
because,
crazy.
yeah, she had PTSD. Um, she had diabetes. Her diabetes was fine. There was nothing wrong, no complications. But it was, then she told me she had a liver disorder. But I was under the impression that having like a non-fatty liver, is that right? Or fatty liver was not like going to be a problem with this carrier. And it ended up being. So I ended up getting that green underwriting, which
I wonder if the when it gets declined after you get the green box, if it's because of the answers in the health section, because you
it
usually
is
get the green box because of before the health section. So
before. Yep. So
yeah,
that did throw me off because I was like, oh, we're going to be good. But then you get to the health questions and I had to mark those three things. And then she got a decline.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like 98% of the time, it means that you're good to go, which
Yeah.
I just love it. Takes all the
Yeah.
stress away.
And that was my bad. I think that I didn't research the liver condition enough. So, and in fact, there was only one product that she was eligible after all of that, which was just AIG.
Okay, well, if nobody has any questions.